ADHD is not necessarily a deficit of attention. There's even been talk about renaming it. It's actually a surplus of attention. You're too curious, you're too interested, you're too passionate. You can think of 5 things at once. You can put your attention and multitask with 5 things at once, right? Constantly switching. And it can be a gift. And you have this open awareness where you're taking in all your sensory inputs. So much of ADHD is struggle because of the school systems for neurotypical people, because that's 95% of the population, right? So ADHD is a minority of minorities almost. But in terms of billionaires and super successful executives, athletes, entrepreneurs, ADHD is massively overrepresented. But also it's overrepresented in prisons, among criminals, among people that, go off the rails. So it's interesting, it's a paradoxical condition, but it's the environment that really shapes ADHD. So if you're surrounded by other people that have ADHD, if you're creative, other people that are creative, if you're a big thinker, other people like that, or if you're entrepreneurial, similar, then you're gonna thrive, right? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and hopefully if you have ADHD, 2 or 3 of them are ADHD. Early in the morning, and they have that golden hour of beautiful, awe-inspiring sunshine in the morning. I come down here on a mindful walk. I do a cold plunge in the river and just kind of like gets me ready for the day. I think of that one intention I have for the day when I'm cold plunging, and I breathe energy into it. For me, this is like a turbocharged meditation, because your whole nervous system, it spikes a little bit, but then it just calms into this like flow state that lasts for me about 2 or 3 hours. You can't fully learn from a book or from a medication or from some diagnosis. You gotta see what works for you. You gotta customize your life for your, your intricacies and your weird tweaks. The whole body feels numb, but my mind feels so still, so silent. Like it's like hitting the reset button on your stress, your anxiety, your brain fog. And then it's like a 2 to 3 hour flow state where I do my best work of the day. One of the things that's really key with ADHD is you gotta externalize your structures, because your brain doesn't create structure like normal people. The prefrontal cortex, where the structure is created, time is calculated, the egoic self is kind of like always being analyzed, is like less active in most ADHD people. You're a dreamer, right? But you're not very structured. So you gotta create structure in your environment to make up for those deficiencies, right? And you have these superpowers, but you have these kryptonites. The fundamental characteristic of ADHD is time blindness. You just don't calculate time, so you're late, and you think you can do something in a week that could take you 3 years. You just have this weird sense of time, and if you don't have these external structures, something could take you forever. So one of my favorite quotes of all time is, "The creative adult is the child who survived." And I think, with ADHD, you're kind of like a big kid. You're so curious, you're so passionate, you're a dreamer, just like these kids, right? And so many people with ADHD and neurotypical people too, that curiosity gets beat out of them, that passion gets beat out of them. People are like, you can't live your passion, that's fantasy land stuff, and you gotta be structured, you gotta be an adult, you gotta be serious, life is serious, But at the same time, life is play. And I think as ADHDers, we're like big kids. And obviously you have to be responsible and all that stuff, but you don't want to lose that child in you, that inner child, that playful child. And I feel like as adults, so many people unlearn how to play. And even today I see with kids, so often they don't even know how to play with new people and make new friends fast. And I think making friends is maybe the most important skill in life. And you do it through play. And you're a leader through play. So one of my favorite Monty Python skits is the Ministry of Silly Walks. And I think we need a ministry of that, because people take themselves and their ideas and their political views way too seriously these days. So the Minister of Silly Walks is a person who shows people how to laugh at themselves again and not take themselves so seriously. So here's a silly walk. Hoi, hoi.
So people should laugh more these days, right?
Fuck yeah, people are so uptight these days. You gotta learn to chill. not take themselves so seriously and not think everyone has to agree with you on everything, right? Accept diversity of opinion. I use a whole bunch of tools for meditation, for binaural beats, for getting into flow when I'm working, isochronic tones, for achieving like hyper-focus states. I use a wearable ring called the Aura Ring, and it gives me a whole like overview of holistically how my health is, how balanced my nervous system is. So it gives a reading daily of what's called HRV, heart rate variability, and it basically tells you from that you can tell the age of your heart, whether it's older and younger than your regular age. And also with ADHD, a lot of people do a lot of stimulants, right? Whether they're prescribed from a doctor or there's a lot of coffee or risky behavior that stimulates you, and that puts strain on your heart, right? So I've used probably like 30, 40 different tools, but these are the two I find the most helpful for what I want at least. This is called the Pulsetto, and you put this on the back of your neck, on your vagus nerve, and it stimulates your vagus nerve. So if I can't sleep or I'm really stressed out, I need to chill out in the evening after work, this is like magic. Really, really powerful way to just release your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve connects the brain, the heart, all your organs. And when that's tense and stressed, you're gonna have problems, right? This is the device I use the most. It's called the Muse S Athena, and it tracks your brain waves in real time and allows you to basically adjust how your brain waves fire and how your brain works. What it does is it tracks both your brain waves, the 5 brain waves, gamma, beta, alpha, theta, delta, and the different patterns between them. It also has FNIRS, which tracks blood flow to your neocortex. And the neocortex is kind of the area you want to target with ADHD because that's usually underactivated. And that's where executive functioning is, your planning, your time, your organization. I feel like mission is the ultimate treatment for ADHD, is like find your mission and just go for it, live a mission-driven life. And then on top of that, right, you gotta sleep well, you gotta do stuff like cold plunges, meditation, exercise. So there's things you need to do in your lifestyle, but just as important, it's like your purpose in your life. Like that's what's gonna make your ADHD a gift.